Now, as you know, the president of Mexico has asked President Trump to sort of hold off on designating the cartels as a terrorist organization. But my main point here is that the cartels have probably grown so powerful that governments can't deal with them. And if governments can't deal with them, you need another process. What is the other process? What do? Could you create any legal situation that would allow people to donate money to a paramilitary organization to go take care of it? I don't know. Senator Tom Cotton has introduced some legislation, or I guess he's about to. They expect him to, in which it would subject the cartels, the Mexican cartels, to terrorist group designations so that we could use some of the tools that we use against terrorism. I don't think this includes military action. I think it's more about banking and, what kind of penalties they get if they're caught, etc. But some have suggested that that would extend to if somebody was just a drug dealer in this country and they were selling drugs that they got from the cartel, that they could get a life sentence for selling, presumably, opioids that came from the cartel. Ask me what I think of that. Down. I would say that any dealer in the United States who is selling fentanyl, and I'll make an exception for quantity. All right. If you're just somebody who bought some pills to share with your friends or something, you're technically a dealer, but that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody whose job, their actual job, is to sell fentanyl into the United States, and they know that fentanyl came from the cartel. Under those situations, I'm in favor of a life sentence for the dealer, or execution. I would also be in favor of capital punishment for a fentanyl dealer in the United States who did it as a job, not just somebody who casually passed them on. Now, as you know, the president of Mexico has asked President Trump to sort of hold off on designating the cartels as a terrorist organization. I don't know if this Tom Cotton legislation that's coming up is exactly the same as what the president was talking about in designating them a terrorist organization. I don't know if they overlap or map together. But, the president of Mexico said, hold off on that. And is there any other way to interpret that other than the Mexican government is unable to move against the cartels because it's just too dangerous? It makes me wonder if you shouldn't have some kind of an international, let's say an international, mercenary army who is, let's say, associated with some other country, or maybe let's say it's an international mercenary army, so that the members of the army are coming from lots of different countries, so that no single country can be blamed. And let's say their funding is ambiguous. Let's say the funding's ambiguous, so you don't even know who funded them. Could you send somebody like that down to deal with the cartels because nobody knows who their family members are? They wouldn't even have real identities and stuff, so that there could be no retaliation directly because you wouldn't even know what country, you wouldn't know who is funding them, you don't know who their families are. You need some kind of an untouchables situation against the cartels. So perhaps, all right, here's a question. Let me just ask this question. I don't know if this is legal or illegal. So I'm not suggesting it because I think I might go to jail if I suggest it. So I'm just going to ask the question of whether this is like a thing that could work or not work. Suppose you had some kind of GoFundMe where the public could contribute by crypto. Let's say they could buy Bitcoin and fund this thing. I don't know. The details don't matter. But that you could fund mercenaries for a specific purpose. And the specific purpose would be to take care of the cartels. Suppose it was just publicly funded. and it was funded by millions of Americans who gave a few dollars. Well, the cartels are not going to get revenge against an American who donated $10 to a GoFundMe that went to, you'd all be safe because you only gave $10, and there would be millions of you. So it wouldn't even necessarily have to be the U.S. government. Would it be legal? In other words, in this country, would it be legal to start a GoFundMe that's only purpose was to hire a mercenary army to go kill the cartels? Is that legal? I don't know. Can somebody tell me if that is? That's crowdsourcing a contract hit, and it's still illegal. Is it? Let's say you. Would it be illegal to do a contract hit on a known terrorist? Maybe. It might be, actually. Could you do a contract hit on the head of ISIS, knowing that the government also wanted to kill him? But let's say that you were a private citizen and you put together a mercenary and you killed the same terrorist that the United States was actively also trying to kill. Would that be illegal? It might be. It might be. Now, let's say it is illegal in this country to have a GoFundMe that puts a hit on an individual. Would it be illegal to have a GoFundMe that funds a defensive military? I don't know, because you're not really targeting individuals. It's a security situation. So, I don't know, I just have some questions. But my main point here is that the cartels have probably grown so powerful that governments can't deal with them. And if governments can't deal with them, you need another process. What is the other process? If it's not governments, what is it? And the United States doesn't want to go rogue because, we have to be a respectable nation and deal with especially our neighboring nations on a government-to-government, let's say, traditional way. So even our government can't go down there and solve that problem because their government can't do it. So what do you do if governments can't solve a problem? What do you do? Could you create any legal situation that would allow people to donate money to a paramilitary organization to go take care of it? I don't know. Somebody says, no, it's not legal to privately fund assassinations. But what if it's not an assassination? What if it's a defensive force? And you say the cartels are attacking the United States, killing tens of thousands of people a year, all true, through their drugs. If you defend against that, is it illegal to pay somebody to guard your house? It's probably illegal to hire a guard to hunt somebody down and shoot him. That's probably illegal. Let's agree that's illegal.